Hey Xylox crew, JRL here with a little tips and tricks video for you as to try to help you improve and become more efficient in your farming. So I just wanted to create this little short video. This is also going to get posted with a write-up as well, so you can take a look at whichever format better benefits you. But basically, I just wanted to give something that this isn't a new idea. This isn't come to a certain node and click farm and only do it multi-farmed 2 at a time or something silly like that. This is just a way to help your account be ready to pivot and to execute on things, because right now, the times of SWGOH, everything is changing quickly. We suddenly get raid and it's dropping in 2 weeks. Suddenly next week we might get a lightspeed bundle. Suddenly after that, everything just constantly changes, and what you think of, oh, well, farming, I'm going to be working on this. I don't know what I'm going to be by the time I get down here. Lord knows what's going to be happening in the game. So gone are the days of having a nice pretty farming plan or anything like that. Basically, the whole intent of this video is to share this very simple idea. Do not apply gear or zetas or anything else to a team until you have all of the gear for the entire team. What I mean by that is you have gone in and you have collected all of the gear for, say, Jabba, Chrysanthemum, Leia, Skiff, Imbo, all of Jabba's entire farm or team. You've got it all ready to go before you start investing into it. So that way you don't end up with something that looks like my Bad Batch right here, for example. You want to be able to take everybody up at the same time. Now, you might ask, why is that so important? And why do it? Well, if we take a look at recent upgrades, you can see Cybix has done something very similar. He hoarded very hard, and he slapped all of his Zetas into his Bad Batch. He's put a bunch of gear all at the same time into the Bad Batch. I personally recommend waiting longer, but still, it's to ensure that when he goes to use it, he will now have an actual working team. If he does something where he invests in single character and then something pops up and he has to pivot to something else, this resources that he put into one character now cannot go help whatever that new shiny thing is that he's chasing. So one thing that helps with this, and what you really ought to be doing, is planning your farms. Not just, okay, I want to do this one, then this one, then this one, and going through it, but you want to be using something like a gear tracker. For example, my favorite gear tracker is found here in Hot Utils under SE Gear, and it's called SWGOH Events Gear, and it will show you, for any characters you want, how much for whatever relics you tell it, how much gear, how much relic materials, how much whatever you need, and it will go and figure out what you need to do that. So for example, for me, as I've been working through my Jedi Vanguard here, I have pre-planned and gotten myself ready that when Depa comes and when Jedi Master Mace comes, I have all their gear ready and I can instantly take them up to what I need to. That's how I've gotten each one, and so as soon as Mace is released, I will have a full R7 team ready to go for the raid. Now, versus my Bad Batch, I've been trying to hoard them up while doing the Vanguards. Obviously, it's tough to get extra gear. We're all gear crunched. We're all Zeta crunched. But trying to get all of their gear at once so I don't have half their gear done and then I'm missing some of the gear I need for Jedi Master Mace. It's important to keep your priorities straight of what needs to come first, and if you hoard it all gear at once, then you never end up splitting something that you could have needed to use for something else that was better. The only reason I did Batcher, and the only reason anybody should not wait until the entire team is done, is if there is a very specific reason you really need that one character done earlier. A great example is Ezra Exile or Darth Bane. those characters have so much plug and play viability or single use viability that you can just go do that one and come back to whatever team you're working on. Batcher I only did because I know I'm going so hard on the raid. Personally, I'm trying to go for the max box, but also because I got sick and tired of this one feat in Conquest and Batcher dying when she was just gear 8. So by taking her up to Relic 5, it's made it super simple for her to just survive. Obviously that's overkill, and that's not something that normally you would need to do, but I know that come next Conquest rolling around, Batcher will be actually at Relic 7 at that point, so there's no reason to have waited because I did have the gear ready, and I still have the gear for Mace and Depa. As you can see here, the way this works is I can input any character. You could even do journeys or other things, and I'm not going to get too much into how to use this tool. That could be reserved for a different video or a different thing, but basically you tell it what characters you want, what farm you're trying to work for, and it'll show you all the relics you need. Yes, I know technically I am short here. And then all of your gear that you need. And so it'll tell you how many pieces, and then you can work towards that. Now, this is free to use. You don't have to pay anything to use this. But if you notice here where it says owned, it's pulling in and linking from my actual account. This is a paid for service. So the nice part with the paying for hot utils, you would actually be able to have your specific gear counts. If you don't pay for hot utils, you can still use this. You would just have to manually kind of check, and in those cases you would probably only really need to look at some of the key things like bronziums or zenbitals or your signal datas, and then you can manually input it, and it'll save this on each time. Notice it already came pre-populated with characters when I opened this up. So there's two resources I'm going to link in the post. SWGOH Events Gear is one of them. It's my personal favorite. Evil uses this website, Move Code SWGOH Tools. I'm not as familiar with this. I took a look at it before creating the video. You have to link your ally code or a Google account, whichever one you want. And then you can come in here and create your own projects and do basically a similar thing where you can output your needs for a farm to... It would help, I guess, if I spell things properly. It'll output a plan here of what you need in order to gear up or accomplish certain things. So if I tell it need gear 13, relic 7, save and update, okay, that's what it's going to take it to. Now I run it, and it's going to output, okay, here's all the relics, here's all of your gear pieces, so on and so forth. So it's very similar to SWGOH Events Gear. It's just a different way. This one is also free to use. It just doesn't have that ability to input what you currently have. So this is both of these are really nice tools. They will help you with getting and understanding what you need, what you have upcoming. I think that this is extremely important for anybody who feels kind of lost in their farms or oftentimes feels like this guy. I am not a fan of Nooch. I think Nooch is a content creator that is targeted at younger accounts, more casual accounts, not for somebody who our guild would benefit from. But he does have this really silly idea, but it is so true, to finish your farms. And when you go and half invest, like this team that he's looking at here, where he has CLS and you've already got Zetas on Chewbacca, but you're still where's Chupio at? Where's the other team? You know? And if you're going and half investing, and we know the Darkside clones just came out, if you're somebody who took the Darkside clones up to gear 11, you invested all of your Cairo. But now, when we have the bonus drops for all the new Bad Batch, suddenly the new Bad Batch are the best first team for everybody to get up and running for the raid, if you spend all of your Cairo into the Darkside clones, but you can't actually start farming them, Scorch won't be farmable for another 5 weeks at the earliest, then you're going to be hurting as you're sitting there waiting and wishing you still had Cairo available to you. So being patient is hard, but it is very beneficial to people if you wait, see what's going to happen. One of the other things is when we look at the upcoming raid here, we don't know how things are going to perform. We don't know what good teams are going to be, bad teams are going to be. We can make guesses, but we don't truthfully know anything about the difficulty or anything regarding the raid. As of right now, when I just did the math last, we are looking at the raid for us. We will be running the raid, the Naboo raid, for the last time on the 23rd, and the Order 66 raid launches on the 25th, which would mean our first run for the Order 66 raid will be probably about the 29th, giving us a little more time to help you farm those squads, but also B, letting all those content creators get their videos in there and out first and do the testing for us first, so we have somewhat of an idea of what we're going to be going into when we get to it. We don't know if, say, a Lumi squad, Lumi with absolute trash Jedi, is going to actually do anything. If that can get you to 60-80% of a score, excellent. If Keller and Beck as a backup Jedi can get you 60-80% of a score, awesome. That's going to be great news for the guild and everybody. But if they're not, and we get the chance to have been waiting to see what their scores are first before we start investing gear into these teams, then you potentially have saved yourself resources. There might also be another, quote, trash Lightspeed bundle that comes around that gives you some of these guys without having to spend the gear on them. And then suddenly, because especially for those of you who are hoping for a Keller and Beck Lightspeed bundle, if you wait, you might get that, and that might save you a lot of resources. And so, because the last thing you want to do is, I'm going to invest in Keller and Beck right now, start farming him up, and find out both a Lightspeed bundle comes out, and, oh, by the way, his team is complete trash in this raid. The real team in this raid is going to be Jedi Master Mace. The real teams in this raid are going to be the brand new teams. That is just the way that it typically works. We hope that the older units will still be viable, and hopefully they can get a majority of a max score, or hey, even a max score would be amazing. But I would not bank on it, and I would not put my entire plan into multiple teams of old characters. If you start hoarding and you get yourself ready, it's going to feel slow, but it's going to feel amazing when you suddenly upgrade every single character all at the same time, and you are putting the chat here on blast, kind of like Cybix has done today multiple times. Heck, we can keep going higher because he did it with Third Sister too, so he's been sitting on a heck of a storage there. So hopefully this makes sense to everybody. Hopefully this is something that maybe you'll consider doing. Again, it's not a necessary mandatory thing. It's just something that could seriously help you save gear, save resources, and give you that benefit of hindsight, because how many times have people said, oh, I just finished that, of course now the Lightspeed bundle comes out. But if you had been saving your stuff all that time, you might have been lucky enough to have waited till the very end and then waited till that last minute and heard rumors of one coming or whatever. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, please message me. Happy to help explain it more. If you want to possibly see some videos on how to use these tools and how to get more information about them, we could certainly do another set of this. I've been thinking for a long time, I thought it would be cool to do some sort of learning videos. I know that we are in the end game, but there is constantly still new things or new ways to think about stuff, or better efficient processes that are great to know and share. So if you have any ideas or things like that, let me know. Be happy to explore them. Until then, keep farming those raid units, and I will see you for the next episode potentially.